Legends and Luminaries. I'm Julie and welcome to Write Smart. Today's book is not just a memoir. It's a micro-memoir called The Danish Goodbye by Beth and Fennelly. So the idea of micro-memoirs fascinated me, so I had to read it to see what it was all about. I absolutely adored it. So Fennelly also writes poetry, so you might see some poetic qualities in her micro-memoirs. Most would have referred to them, especially the longer ones, as personal essays. Yet some of these chapters are only a sentence or two long, which obviously wouldn't be called an essay. So instead, Fennelly has this mashup of essay-length pieces and one-liners, or some even read like poems, and put them all together into a book, which she has cleverly called micro-memoirs. The title of The Danish Goodbye is somewhat of a pseudo-theme for the book, although not all of the pieces relate completely to this idea of goodbye and loss. You know me, I like memoirs that focus on a theme rather than an autobiography type style, and some of Fennelly's micro-memoirs could have more closely related to this title. I'm such a stickler for that. So anyway, to give you an idea of these micro-memoirs, let me read one in its entirety, and well, it's not very long at all. So this one is called Two Sisters, One Thinner, One Better Dressed. When my sister and I would meet at her apartment before heading out to bars, I would choose my clothes with care. I knew that when I walked through her door, she would study me, especially if a few weeks or more had passed since we'd seen each other. Sisters are envious, sure, but we are also gathering information. We shared a likeness, so it was a way to test how we'd fare in a different outfit, a new haircut. She was often thinner than I was, but I had better style. Younger by 2 years, I was her leader only in fashion. I would often be wearing something she hadn't yet considered. She would ask me where I got it, and I would tell her, maybe showing off a little. Sometimes she'd want to try it on, and I would accessorize her, cuff her jeans, or angle the belt on her hips. If she asked, we'd swap outfits for the night. It was worth being the frippier one to make her happy. I'm still aware of how I look when I visit her. I live in a different state now, so it's not as often, but when I'm back in Illinois at our mom's house, I always end my run by visiting her. I stand panting in the grass at my sister's feet. I'm aware of how she sees me, huffing clouds from my lungs, my legs strong, my skin bright with sweat in my new running clothes. Still showing off, I suppose, as she stuck wearing the navy suit I chose the last time I styled her, a suit now 13 years outdated, though fashionable enough when they closed her casket. Okay, so this just blew me away. So I knew nothing about Fennelly when I bought the book, so I had no idea that she had a sister who died. She has this beautiful way of writing between her word choice and her sentence structure, as well as how she reveals information. I don't think I've read any other author that does this better than she does. The way she unveils information is just astounding. It forces you to pay attention because you might miss something. Each little memoir captivated me in some way. She writes about the power of friendships, folded amidst losing memories as her loved ones battle dementia, kissing her husband, double dating, and even posing for a nude portrait. There's a little bit of everything in here, and each was interesting in its own way, largely due to how beautiful she writes. I think she could make the most boring thing sound interesting, and that's what I think makes a good writer. Many of these pieces were published elsewhere, which I think is a great way for a writer to get their book or their work to a book reading audience. I don't read literary journals, so I appreciate being exposed to stuff I would miss otherwise. However, here's the question. Do books like this appeal to the general reading public? Other writers love it, but do the readers? I imagine readers may like such short chapters since we apparently lack any attention span whatsoever. We can't even watch a movie without dinking around on our phones anymore. But overall, is this the kind of memoir readers pick up to read? That perhaps is my main question. A book of micro-memoirs will probably not become a bestseller unless Oprah adds it to her book club, but that's the truth for most books out there. What is it, like 10,000 books are published every single day? So most will go unread by a large audience. But a book like this should be appealing to more readers. It's not only little chunks of life, but it's stuff you can relate to. It's stuff that makes you think. It's stuff that makes you look more closely at your own experiences, the little things in life that we don't always pay much attention to. So I loved The Danish Goodbye. In fact, I'm keeping it so that I can use it to model texts when I have my students write. I'm even going to order her first memoir, Heating and Cooling, because I want to read more of her writing. This book also inspired me in several ways. First, to play with different writing structures and to not always reveal so much right away. Second, to capture small events and stuff and not worry about having an essay-length piece because it could be much, much shorter. And third, to take stuff I've already written and put them all together into a micro-memoir rather than a memoir of personal essays. The Danish Goodbye was one of those books I was so happy to have found. It's a must-read for anyone, but if you are a writer, you have to read it. Thanks for watching. As always, my goal at Write Smart is to write books so that we can read books and get a little bit smarter, one book at a time.